I'm more myself now than I've ever been, which I couldn't say maybe at the start of when people might have got to know me. And that's just taken a lot of growing up, to be honest with you, a lot of really good friends and a lot of experiences, a lot of things that are happening in the public eye as well, which can be seen as a negative sometimes, but actually a real positive. And I feel like I'm the most self-aware that I've ever been. When you're a parent, they're so attached to you, right? And so stealing a tiny bit of attachment for yourself is pretty awesome. And I walk into the nursery and he'll turn around and he'll go, oh, I'm like, yes,
that's
yes,
so great.
Fuck your parents.
Have you all had a lovely day one at the Happy Place Festival 2026?
Yeah.
Come on. Very awkwardly, me and Sam are wearing the same T-shirt, as you can see. Twinning. Not the same shorts, sadly. That would have been a look. But please, everybody, give it up for the brilliant Sam Thompson.
Hello. Oh, what a pleasure to be here, man.
We only have nice people here. There are no idiots allowed, so you will have a blast.
Do you know what? I was literally saying to Fearne when I walked in, the energy in here is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, the vibe is so good. And, like, everyone that I met on the way through here, like, everyone wants a hug. I'm a big hugger, so, like, yeah, it was real nice. I had a great time.
A lot of sweaty hugs going on.
Yeah, a lot of sweat, and that's mostly for me, so I do apologise to anyone who I did hug.
But it's good vibes. There's lots of reasons why there are good vibes. As I said, no morons allowed.
Yep.
No alcohol, which makes a big difference. Because everyone's kind of on an even keel, and we just keep it nice and chilled.
Yeah, do you know what?
Nice and calm.
I saw a bit of yoga over there as well, and I was like, could after this have a little, I don't know,
A little downward dog?
I've never done it. I've never done yoga before.
We're going to get you in there.
But I'd love to. Get me in.
I'm feeling like the Happy Hub, which is our new area, is a bit of you. There was hula hooping, there was line dancing.
I love line dancing. Oh my God, I would have loved to do that.
I knew it.
That would have been so fun.
Yes.
How many people did it? Was there like loads of people? Did you?
Yes.
Everyone did it.
A lot of people were line dancing. There's all sorts here. I'm imagining, I think my brain is a bit like yours. It doesn't stop making noise.
Yeah.
And so for me, I find, and some people might not know this, but I find meditating almost impossible. And I do try it, and then I fall off the wagon. But it's just a very difficult concept to sit there with all the stuff. Yeah.
Mate, I had the exact same thing. I had that app. It was called Headspace, I think.
Yeah.
I used to sit there and I'd do the whole thing. I just physically couldn't do it.
No.
That's nothing against the app. My brain, what I used to happen is I used to sit there and be like, okay, here we go. And then I'd talk to myself. And I'd be like, and then I'd be like, dude, you're not, like, I'd have an argument with myself in my head. I'd be like, just shut up. And I'd be like, no, you shut up. And then the whole 15 minutes of breathing, I was like, I didn't breathe right there. No. And it's like, well, I might as well just give up. And they'd be like, don't open your eyes. I'd open my eyes. I'd be like, well, he's opened his fucking eyes now. Do you know what's wild? Is the best form of meditation that I ever have, and I feel like we all have our vice.
Yes.
Mine is either watching a fantasy movie.
Okay, what are we
for
talking?
Like the millionth time.
Is this like a fairy thing?
So it'd be like a Lord of the Rings,
okay,
or like something I can get lost in,
right?
Because it's not of this world.
Okay.
Something that's not of this sort of world, or gaming are my two things that I can get absolutely lost in, and I'll come out so zen.
Yes.
And it's the best excuse to my girlfriend ever. Because I get home, I'm like, gosh, really stressful day, better watch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
The trilogy. No, I hear you, and I think that's definitely what we're trying to do here, is to show that, the word wellness slightly gives me the ick, because it can just be a certain set of prescriptive things, like you've got to be able to do yoga or whatever, and it's like absolute rubbish. Whatever makes you feel great and makes you feel well is wellness. I so agree. For me, painting is the one thing where my brain flatlines. It's just silent, I don't have many thoughts, and I feel so calm afterwards. You've got to definitely try it all out and find it might be line dancing. That could be your form.
It could be mine, to be fair.
That could be your new thing. I could see you in a pair of Daisy Dukes and a pair of cowboy boots.
If you do it with me, I am so in.
It is on. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, and I've been wanting to have a chat with you. We've had your sister on already.
Have you?
Yes.
Good that she told me. Class.
She is a phenomenal woman, as you well know.
Yeah, she's the better Thompson for sure.
No, come on.
No, she is. Yeah, trust me, in all things.
We had
actually.
such a great chat, and she's brilliant. And you are the most brilliant uncle to her son. I love watching your relationship and how close you are to her and how you've taken on your nephew in the way that you have. It's gorgeous.
He's a very special boy. There's a lot of me in him, which I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but like he is, like, it's interesting because like he's not my child, right? So I remember when he first, Louise had an incredibly traumatic birth,
Yeah.
I'm sure a few of you may know, and like when I first held him, I was literally like, what am I going to feel like? Like, how's this going to go? And if I'm completely honest, and I feel like that's what we're here for, right? It's just, being honest with yourselves. I was like, I feel like I'm holding a stone that shits and sicks.
Wow.
And I was like, there was no like personality or anything, because I've never seen a newborn before. And I was like, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, come on! Come on!
Give me something.
I need to love you, and you need to love me. And I felt really guilty. And I remember actually saying to Louise and Ryan, I was like, how do I bond and vibe with little Leo? And I think like only like two and a half. He's now nearly 5. Oh man, he's just like that. It's like an energy thing. And like I'll pick him up from school, and there's no better feeling for an uncle than going in to, because I'm sure a lot of you are parents, and when you're a parent, they're so attached to you, right? And so stealing a tiny bit of attachment for yourself is pretty awesome. And I walk into the nursery, and he'll turn around, and he'll go, oh, I'm like, yes, yes,
so great.
Fuck your parents. But like in all seriousness, like it's the most. I'm swearing a lot, by the way. Apologies. It's the most wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
And it almost sounds cringy, but like it's a love that I've never felt before.
Oh, it's
and
beautiful.
when they say like you'd die for something, like I would anything for him.
You are the best uncle. I love that. And also the great thing about being an uncle is at the end of the day, you give him back.
Yeah. Oh my God, you give him back.
Bye.
Yeah. By the way,
See ya.
babysitting like at night is hard.
Nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
But it was like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, they won't go to bed.
And I was like, go to bed, man.
No, they don't.
And he was like, no. And I was like, I'll come to bed with you. Like, I'll lie there. I'll read you a book, a story.
Yeah.
He went, no, you tell me story down here.
Yes.
And I went, I'm negotiating with a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And he's winning.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand it. And then I was like, then he was like, I wait till mummy and daddy get home. And I went, but they're getting home at like midnight.
No.
And then he went, give me sweet. And I went, okay, I know how this plays out. Sugar before bed, not an option.
No.
So I've literally been like, right, I know that Louise and Ryan and my brother-in-law had hidden the sweets away. So I was like, no sweet. And he knew where to find them normally, and they'd moved them. So I went, he goes, I'll have that. That's healthy. And it was like a fruit roll-up thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, fair enough, that sounds about right. It's got fruit in it. Mate, it's the amount of sugar this dude was bouncing off the walls. It was midnight.
Yeah.
Midnight, and his parents, my sister and Ryan came back, and they went, how is he still awake? And I went, I don't know, I'm near tears. I was like, I don't know, please let me babysit him, I don't know what's happened. And he went, he saw like 5 wrappers of fruit roll-ups.
Yeah.
And he went, what the fuck is that? And I went, I thought it was fruit. And he went, that's the worst thing you can give him.
The worst.
Before bed. No idea. Anyway, so a really long story. But yeah, it's the magic of being an uncle is you learn in increments, which I think is really important.
Yeah, it's good. You're getting a little flavour of it.
Yeah.
It's good times. But yeah, bedtime it's the absolute pits. My kids are 10 and 13, and it's still a nightmare. Why? It should be a simple thing. Please go to bed. Okay. Never. It's never happened in the history of me being a parent. It's a nightmare. We obviously initially knew you from Made in Chelsea. Me and my kids, they've actually now left the vicinity because my son was like, why is there no meat and can I leave? Okay, so he's gone. He's 13. We loved watching you on Get Me Out of Here. Just seeing you. Yeah, it was so great.
Yeah, best show I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it was so great because you were just 100% yourself, which sounds like an easy thing, but it is not. When you've got cameras, whether you start to forget about that or not, millions of people are watching, probably judging your every move, interaction, but you were just so properly yourself, and it was a joy to watch.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Was it really? You loved it?
I would go back in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Yeah, I think I was very lucky though. But I mean, look, two things. First of all, like I'm a fan more than anything else. Like I've been a fan of TV and yours, to be honest with you, and you know, I mean, God, Ann and Dec, like,
oh, we love them.
Yeah, but like, I'm like a super fan. Like, I used to sit down on my like living room floor with my parents years and years ago watching The Jungle.
Yeah.
And so like to have the opportunity to do it, I did it practically for free, by the way. Like some people get mega money on that show. I literally went, I'll pay you.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I mean, deadly serious. Like you have these chats with like the big bosses. You know how it works.
Yeah.
You have these chats. I literally turned around and went, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm such a big, to get to like go and experience that. And then like Cyclone and all that kind of stuff. And then so that was one half. And I'd get to meet Aunt Dec. And by the way, they are as nice as.
Oh, they are
as
the
you.
loveliest humans.
Like you would, because a lot of the time, you know, you go, are you actually that nice? They are almost even nice. They say never meet your heroes, but do meet them.
Yeah.
And the show, I'll say this as well. TV, and again, I think you'll probably know this as well. There are a lot of shows I think out there that are painted as really beautiful, lovely shows, and actually inside are quite sinister in some.
Yeah, they're awful.
In some settings.
Yeah.
I can safely say that The Jungle is the most beautiful, family-friendly. Like it's absolutely wonderful. The care they give you, and like everyone's just there for a good time, and they're not trying to screw anyone over. It was just beautiful, and I wouldn't. I'm not getting paid by them or anything like that. I had the most magical time, and I was in there with the most amazing people, like Tony Bellew is just a boy, and then Marvin Humes, he's the best dad, he's the best human. I mould myself to Marvin Humes.
Do you?
Yeah.
He's your inspo?
Be
more Marvin.
I'm not even talking about like in the world, I'm not even talking about like just in my friendship, I'm talking about in the world. Like I haven't met a better man, like as a man, you know, we talk about the manosphere and all that kind of stuff, but I've never met a better man than Marvin Humes.
He's a good egg, isn't he?
He's the best dad I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
Like he's the best husband I've ever seen in my life. And they have just the best family, and he's just a polite, my mum adores him. Like I'll never forget when me and Pete did a show, and he was like by far the most famous person in the green room. And was literally going around to my mum, to my family, introducing himself, saying like, and I was just like, what a beautiful soul he is.
What a guy.
So I was very lucky with The Jungle.
Yeah.
And also you do forget, well I forgot anyway, because I'm kind of like that, but like, yeah, I forgot the cameras on. I think I had a panic attack on day one.
What do you mean?
Oh, fine. No,
I didn't know that.
Oh, mate, I walked in, I was so excited. I sit on this bunk bed, and I was just like, oh shit, I'm here.
Yes.
And I went, I'm doing The Jungle. And then and it all just hits you, because you go in and you get thrown in and you forget. And then you have your own thoughts. And I sat there, and I was rubbing my legs like this. I was like, oh my God, I'm like in the jungle, I'm panicking now, oh my God. And I started getting really dizzy. And I was like, I need to lie down. And I knew Nella Rose a little bit, lovely lady. And I literally went up to her and tapped her on the leg. I went, Nella. She went, what? I went, I think I'm having a panic attack. On day one.
But it's the worst, that dizzy, I'm leaving my body feeling.
I have it quite a lot.
Not fun. What, you had it more than once there?
No, it was only once there. I just get it through life. Really.
Yeah, no say.
Yeah, I get it through life. And then when you notice it,
it,
you're like, oh my God.
I know. I mean, you've talked a hell of a lot about anxiety, and that's sort of starting in your 20s. So panic attacks, they're still kind of on the scene a bit?
Yeah, but I know how to deal with it a little bit more now. Like, I'm less... I'm less panicked about the panic attack now, which is funny because it's the same thing with I used to have insomnia back in the day. I don't have it anymore. Well, I do every now and then. I don't think it ever really goes. But when I first had that, I didn't sleep for like months. Like I obviously like your body shuts off eventually and you get sort of 5 hours. But yeah, I was in a really bad spot. And I remember it happening and being like, I'm dying. I was like, I can't figure it out. And then I went to the most amazing therapist, and she was like, I promise you, it's because you're worried about not sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, I have that at the moment.
Yeah, mate, every single night, but then she goes, let me tell you something, she goes, you're not going to die if you don't sleep at night. You're going to be okay. You're going to wake up the next morning and you're just going to be tired. It's going to be okay. And the moment I relaxed about it, it got a little bit easier. And I find that with life, not just like sleeping. I find that with life where it's just like, if you feel like whenever I get wobbly or anything like that, I'm like, well, if I pass out, I pass out. Like, you know, it is what it is. And I don't have the fear so much anymore.
Yeah, I totally hear you because I mean, I haven't had as many panic attacks recently, but I had a patch where they were prevalent. I was having them all day long, and it was the pits. And I can very much adopt that day to day with panic, where I can override it and think, oh, right, if I fainted on this stage right now, I'm sure actually most people would probably come over and help me and say, are you okay? It's
probably shit myself, but other than that, like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'd be like, and what now?
Yeah.
But it's not the worst nightmare case
Yes.
that you think. But with sleep, I still find that one so hard. And I had a good patch of sleep, maybe at the start of the year. I've regressed and it's bumming me out because I'm doing exactly what you've just said, worrying. Like, oh, the next day's a write-off, everything's going to be ruined. And actually, you're so right, it's not. More often than not, you're like, yes, I'm a bit tired. Then you sort of forget that you're tired and you crack on with the day and it's okay. But in the moment...
Oh, the moment.
When it's dark at night...
Quiet.
Yeah, quiet.
I hate quiet.
And my brain is chatting. So what I will do today is when I get in bed later... I will, whether I like it or not, replay most of the conversations I've had today as I'm trying to go to sleep. That's relaxing. I'll hear your voice in my head. That's what I'll be hearing tonight.
Oh, you know what, that?
Oh, I will be.
Not at midnight.
And I can't override it. And I'm just having a bad patch at the moment. But I know that it's, you get fits and starts, you have a bad patch, you have a good patch again, it's okay. And it's good to remember that. And it's also good to hear someone like you say that, like, yeah, I used to, and now I'm feeling a bit better. It's possible to override it.
I completely, I get tinnitus as well.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got the whole shebang. Yeah, tinnitus is savage. I don't know if anyone else has got tinnitus here, but like if you try and sleep, and the ringing, it's in your skull. And you're like, this can't be right.
No.
Like, something's got to be wrong here. And I remember going to an ear specialist and he went, mate, I don't know what to say. You got tinnitus. And I went, well, how do we deal with it? It's got to be some pill that I can take or something. And he literally went, there is nothing, there's quite literally nothing you can do. And I went, but it won't stop.
No.
And he went, well, that's life.
Yeah. Doesn't Jamie Lang have it as well?
Yeah, he's got
Jamie
it.
has it. Yeah.
But ours is very linked, actually. It comes from anxiety.
Right.
Yeah, and so at night I get more anxious at night, and then at night it's like a drill in your ear. Not all the time,
no,
just sometimes. And again, you just sort of learn that it's not the end of the world, and it just becomes annoying more than anything.
So say you're in that state, you know you're feeling a bit anxious, you're on edge, maybe things like tinnitus are peaking because of that. Is there anything that you do that you rely on to try and reset yourself slightly and feel a bit better?
Yeah, I think a thing for me is that I have my sort of three, call them my three, and it's one of them, the people I call. Pete is one of them. If he picks up, which he's not very good at the moment, by the way. Yeah, I wonder why. Pete's one of my calls. My sister is another one of my calls, my girlfriend. And so my three, I call my three, and if I'm ever having a tough time, I know one of them will pick up, and I can sort of like talk. If it gets real bad, I've got a friend who... Did anyone used to watch Made in Chelsea back in the day? Do you know who Lucy Watson is?
Yes.
So she's not one of my three. so her husband, James Dunmore, if anyone knows who that is, he commonly gets called Lucy's husband, which he's a lovely guy. And I'll call him and I'll go, big dog, I need to have a Nando's with you on me.
Right,
and
love that.
that is code for, I've got a lot on my mind, I'm struggling at the moment, can we have a chat for like 2 hours? And he goes, oh, for fuck's sake. And so like, but he knows he gets a free Nando's, free whole chicken, and he sits there, and I moan at him for about 2 hours straight, and I just moan and moan and moan, and I am not joking. All of that anxiety and all of that stuff washes away over Nando's. If you find the right person, I'm very lucky that I've got a few.
Why is he the person? What makes him a good person to use as a bit of a soundboard?
'Cause he's cynical as hell.
Right.
And I'm not.
Okay.
So like I will like, I'll be like, the world's against me, rah! And he'll be like, shut up. You're absolutely fine.
Right.
He's literally like, you've had a great month or whatever, like you've just done the jungle or whatever it is. He's like, mate, get outside your own head. And I really need people like that. And it's not for everyone. Like sometimes, like I need to be around people who are harsh but fair, because I'm a complete and I'm an opposite of that. Like I'm really emotional, and so like Pete's the exact same. Pete is literally like. I was going through a pretty tough spot last year, and Pete was literally like, would call me up and be like, right, mate, it's been about 3 months now of this. And he was like, we're gonna have to get you out of this, big dog. And he would literally be like, it's time to get out of this.
Yeah,
now.
you need friends like that.
I massively need that because otherwise I will wallow. And that's why I call James or Pete or my sister. Yeah.
I get that. I'm exactly the same. I need someone to give me like a bit of a snap out of it moment, a tough love. Because actually, I'm very lucky. I've got lots of great friends like you, and there are some mates who might be as equally outraged by what's going on or upset for you, whatever. And that's not always what you need. You do need someone to go, right, and how are we going to get out of this, and be quite practical and just sensible about it, like take the emotion out of it.
Exactly,
because really important.
I'm so emotional.
Yeah, me too.
I feel everything.
I feel all the feelings.
Yeah,
all the time.
and I feel them internally as well.
Yes.
And I struggle to vocalize them, and I also am an energy person. So like, if there's like a vibe in a room, I like really go within myself, because like if there's a weird vibe, I will just be like, oh, I can feel you, like and some people are exterior. Some people don't notice they're giving it off. And it's not their fault that I'm like that, but I'm so aware of everything.
Yeah, me too.
Like hyper aware.
Are you good at giving yourself permission to extract yourself from situations like that? Right.
Awful.
See, I'm good now.
No.
I'm like, bye. Or I don't even say bye.
Yeah, but I feel like you've got the power.
No,
Like,
don't be
you
mad.
do.
Of course
You've
I
got
haven't.
an amazing energy where I feel like you're like a boss.
No, if I leave a party without saying goodbye to anyone, I'm still a twat. Okay? Nothing can get around that. But if I'm at a thing and I think, oh, I am edgy, I think I would have pushed through back in the day, but now I'm like, I'm out of it.
See, but I respect that so much. I have the spine of a slug.
Right.
I don't even know if they have spines. Do slugs have spines?
We've gone off on an ADHD tangent, people.
Yeah.
Let's Google it.
Someone let me know if slugs have spines. But
let us know.
Yeah,
do shout out if you know.
They must do. No, they don't. Maybe not.
Still on it.
I thought the worst is
Still
I've
on
now
slugs.
forgotten what I was going to fucking say.
We're at a party. You're hating it.
Oh, yeah,
you're staying.
Spine of a slug.
Yeah.
I am such a people pleaser that I will literally stay till the last minute if someone doesn't want me to go.
Oh no, we've got to change
Yeah,
this.
I'm really, really, really bad at that. I'm also bad at saying no to things. So like, I will say yes to everything. So I've got like so many things packed in the diary that I don't.
So you know when my team said, "Can you wear that T-shirt?" and you said yes.
Do you know what's funny? Fearne, do you know what's funny? In actuality, I actually adore this.
Okay.
I think the cut is lovely, and I'm actually going to wear this to the football, and I'm not joking.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, I would have if you had asked me anyway, and I didn't want to.
Yeah,
I say yes
get
to
it.
everything, like absolutely everything.
I get it, and I mean, again, was absolutely like that. And there's still parts of my life where I find it hard to let somebody down or say no, whatever. But if I'm at a thing, like Jamie Lang, the first time I had dinner with Jamie Lang, who, by the way, is like the funnest person to go for dinner with ever.
Jokes.
He wants all the gossip. He's got the margaritas on flow. It's so great. But the first time we had dinner, it got to about 10. I'm already calculating, if I leave now, how long till I get home, brush my teeth, like the minute I get into bed, what's that time? And I was panicking, like, oh my God, it's going to be too late. And this was nothing to do with the company, but I needed to get out of there. And I went, okay, it's been lovely, and I'll see you soon.
Yes!
And he was like, what's going on? I mean, I've got to go, I'm leaving now.
That's
and
so
he said,
great.
that is the most alpha thing I've ever seen in my life. He couldn't get his head around it.
Me and him are very similar. He's one of my best friends.
I love him.
And he's like my brother. And we could never do that.
No.
And we wish we could. And there's actually a really funny meme about that exact thing where it literally goes, right, I love you all, but I will only bring you down. And they go, but you don't have to say anything. It's like, no, I don't care. I could sit here and not say anything, and I'd still get depleted.
Yeah.
Like when my time is done,
It's done.
It is, and there's nothing I can do about that.
No.
The problem I have is I then stay, and I give like the energy that I have, and then I burn out, and it's not so much that I feel sorry for myself. I feel sorry for the people that I spend the most time around after I've done that, for people I don't know, because then I'll come home and my sister or my missus or my mum or whatever won't get the best version of me because I've left it all out on the field.
Yeah, I totally get that. So would you, this is interesting. So would you say, Because I think most people would go, oh, Sam Thompson, extrovert. But I don't think that's the whole story.
I'm an extrovert, introvert.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so I... And do you know what? That's one of the biggest... Well, I don't know how deep we get on this, but like
Well, we can go deep.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sometimes makes me a bit sad that my whole persona is that, and that people don't know that I'm everything.
Yeah.
Like, we're all humans, right? And so I sometimes feel it goes two ways because I'm so lucky to do the job that I do. So I'm very excited all the time. Like, I get to sit here and talk to everyone here. I couldn't want to be in a better place than I am right now, talking to you guys and you. Like, I love energy. I love people. So like, when I see people, I get really, really excited, and then people see that excitement and go, oh, he's like that all the time. But I'm not like that all the time.
No.
And then I worry because I'm like, what if I'm not like that all the time? And then I'm like, I hope people don't think I'm rude if I'm not. And now what happens is, if I'm ever soft, people are like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh shit, am I not okay? And then you're like, oh, better zip the suit back up. And you don't feel like you maybe can always be. I sometimes look at Pete and I go, you're the luckiest man in the world, because he is so like Pete.
Yeah.
You know what he is, and he'll tell you all to fuck off, and he won't care.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that, but I don't have the option to ever, because it's just a different thing, and I sometimes struggle with that, because I'm like, then what happens is people go, he's fake, because people go, he's always like that, and no one's ever like that, and they're right, no one's ever like that, but you only ever see me when I'm like that, because I'm lucky enough to do something that I love. Like, in the jungle, I could have stayed there for 5 years. Like, I was, and been that happy for 5 years.
Just eating kangaroo testicles.
Mate, but
for
because
5
I was
years.
in the place that made me the happiest thing, and if I will never not be like that. But in life, it's not always like that.
It's not, and I totally get you. Like, yesterday, before this, this is the most, I feel so grateful that we're here, that we're getting to do this for our 6th year, and that people still turn up, and it is an absolute gift. But I have like a mad anxiety the day before, thinking, what if I can't be the jolly, happy version on that day? Because I'm the same as you. I have days where I love socializing, I love talking to people, I love hearing people's stories. And then there are days where I need to be at home, literally silent, like on my own. And if I don't have those days, that's where I start to totally lose the plot. So I get anxious, like, what if I can't do that tomorrow? What if I'm awkward when I'm talking to people? I have awkward days all the time where the conversation doesn't flow, or things just don't feel like they're connecting. And it's a horrible thing, because people they expect it. And I think you're absolutely allowed to say, I love my job, I'm so lucky, it's brilliant. But also there's this other side to it, where people would bump into you in the street, and if you're having a quiet day, they might not accept that. And they might go, oh, actually, Sam Thompson's really rude, or Fearne's really not the jolly person she thinks she is. It's something that, people are expecting of you.
Yeah, do you know what? It's an interesting one, because they're like, it's the people that I've met, and I don't know whether I'm just the luckiest dude in the world. I have never met one nasty person, and I've been doing this for over 10 years.
As in people coming up to you in the street? Wow.
Mate, I will never, to this day, and I know you're the exact same, like, there is something so magical about someone coming up and asking for a photo that I will never, ever, you can't beat it. Like, you don't know me, like, we don't know, like we're realistically strangers, but you know something about my life that has interested you enough to come over to me, which is an awkward thing to do, by the way, and like approach me and say, hey, can I have a photo? You've taken time out of your day to go there, and what you don't realize is you've made my day. And so, like, it's the most beautiful thing that you can ever have. And it's funny, because that charges me up.
Yeah.
That charges me up. I like, more than anything else, getting to meet people, I adore. The thing that drains me sometimes is when you're in an environment unlike this, and you're like, I don't belong here, and then but you have to stay there. That drains the hell out of me.
Like a crap showbiz party.
Yeah, mate. Hey, Fearne.
Just saying. Also,
I love that analogy.
I don't go to anything like that. Also, good luck leaving here today. Good luck with that.
I have no issue with it at all.
Good luck with that.
I love it.
We'll form an orderly queue just over here. And Sam will take a picture with everyone.
Every single one. And do you know what the worst thing is?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I sound like an idiot. I've got a PR, right? And she's one of my best friends. She's called Charlotte. She was just back there. We went to the Palace recently and did a talk there, which is fucking awesome. And we did a photo thing, which wasn't meant to happen, but it just did. Everyone, and we took a photo of absolutely everyone, to the point where the prince saw. I was like, what's going on over there? And I was like, yes! Yes, we've done him! We've done him at the
I'm more
Palace.
popular than you. Thank you very much.
It was, but she and Charlotte was there, and she was literally like, it's the vibe again. We've never, connecting with people is just phenomenal. And what you've built here, a place where everyone can connect and everyone can smile and hug and have a great time and just chat.
Yeah, it's good vibes.
Phenomenal.
It's because of all this lovely lot.
Yeah,
if these
it
people
is.
weren't here, it would be me and you in a field.
Yeah.
So
Hey, there's worse people to be with, to be
This
fair.
is what it is. We're so, so lucky. What I love about how you've used this platform that you've created over the years is that you're using it really responsibly to talk about things that you really care about. One of them being ADHD. You've made a beautiful documentary about it. You've also written, we've got this book here, which is done.
Oh, we're doing promo!
Oh, yeah.
Come on!
This is a brilliant book, and it's for young people. And there'll be lots of people here that are parents of neurodivergent children, have kids in their family that are going through it. What I wonder is, how old were you, first of all, when you were diagnosed?
30.
30. So this is it. A lot of people, I was about to say our age, I am way older than you, but a lot of people later down the line are getting these late diagnoses. So we go through childhood not knowing and maybe feeling like, you know, why is this more difficult, or whatever challenges that you face. If you were to go back and talk to little Sam Thompson, I don't know, age 10,
Yeah.
what would you want to say to little Sam?
I'd want to say that you should be proud of who you are. I was very fortunate. I went to a pretty good school, but I really struggled at that school. I didn't know why, and I really struggled. I remember there was this one story that I've told before, but I remember trying to revise and crying into my textbooks because I couldn't understand the words. It was like the meditation thing. So like I would read, but I would hear my own voice read it, and like nothing would go in. And I remember like being really sad because my teacher kept on telling me like, you're not concentrating, you're not trying, you're doing this, you're doing that, and I couldn't understand. I just thought I was an idiot. I was like, oh, you're actually like broken. And I remember just bursting in tears in my textbooks. And if I could look back, I'd probably be like, you're like a special person. I know that sounds maybe a little bit cringe, but when I got diagnosed, and we made a documentary about it actually, and I said to the director, I was like, if you think I'm gonna cry, like you've got another thing coming. Like, I'm not gonna cry when I know I've got ADHD. I'm almost certain. Like you're not gonna have the moment that you think you're gonna have. I don't want to feel forced into that. And she was great. She was like, we're not expecting that. And I was like, okay, cool. And the lady who diagnosed me went, so obviously you have ADHD. She was like, you're quite high on the spectrum. And she went, I just want to let you know something. You can forgive yourself for everything that happened in the past of your school and the way you grew up and how you felt about yourself. And she went, I also want to let you know you should be really proud of yourself. You're a very special boy. And it sounds, I mean, I was 29, about to be 30, and like, being called a special boy at 29, 30, you wouldn't expect that to be the thing that gets you. And like, I like wept, and I just didn't expect, I didn't know the weight I had until it had been lifted. And so I would say to little Sam, there's a weight you don't even know is there that is weighing you down, and you feel like you're less than, and you should be really, really proud. And the reason I wrote this actually, and the reason this is here, is actually, it's funny you said, it's for little Sam. It's for anyone who might be slightly confused about what's going on in their brain. And I am not a scientist or anything like that, obviously, and I'm not an expert on ADHD, but these are things that help me, and I wish I had known when I was at school when I was a kid. So I nearly didn't do this, by the way, because I think we're all aware the neurodiverse space is quite a sketchy little space to dive into, and everyone, rightly so, has a lot of opinions and stuff, and you don't want to say something wrong, or you don't want to do this, and like, I'm not an expert. And then so I put this off for quite a long time, and then I was talking to my dad about school and my report cards and stuff, and I went, you know what, I feel like I owe it to myself, to little Sam. So that's why this.
Yeah, well, good for you writing it, and it's already exactly helping loads of people.
I feel really abashed now for some reason.
No, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and look, you're so all of the spaces, whether it's wellness, mental health, neurodivergent space, they're all going to have, so they're all noisy spaces, and you've got to pick and choose where you get your information, what you want to listen to. But I think each of those spaces should absolutely have, yes, we've got experts and we need to be guided in the right way, but also lived experience and storytelling. And that's why we do the podcast. It's so important to hear, how your childhood was, what you're doing now to help yourself cope and feel like you can tackle the problem areas that you've experienced over the years. I think it's a really important thing to do.
That's really sweet of you. I loved it. It was so cathartic, actually, and it's funny because one of the big things in this book, and one of the things I've said about ADHD for a long time, which is quite controversial, it turns out, is I think you can make this into a superpower, and I understand very heavily how ADHD can be really, really tough for a lot of kids, a lot of adults, but I refuse to let kids be like, it's going to be your life's going to be hard. Like, I don't want to say that to a kid. They're going to get told that, trust me, more than enough times. And I want to sort of like plant a little flag in the ground and be like, mate, if you can harness it, and if you have the right people around you, and you speak to your parents, and you communicate with your teachers, and you communicate with people about how you're feeling and how it's best to handle you, I genuinely do believe you can achieve so much with ADHD, and I think you can actually use it as a blessing as well as something that could hinder you sometimes. And I will always put my flag in that ground and be like, I want kids to be proud rather than be like, oh no, I've got something bad, because it's not necessarily all that bad.
Do you know what's very interesting? We did a live podcast this morning that I know some of you were watching with Paul Whitehouse and his wife, Dr. Minna Jonkbayar. And they have a podcast that is all about ADHD. It's called I'm ADHD, No You're Not. And Dr. Minna has ADHD.
It's so good.
But what I found so fascinating was they said out of all the people they've interviewed, only 2 people said they wish they didn't have ADHD. The majority were like, I wouldn't change a thing. Maybe that's because they have the diagnosis and they know what works, what doesn't, and they can see, like you've said there, the bits that really work for them, whether it's hyper-focus. Is that something that you experience?
Yeah, 100%. It's the thing that I mean, if I didn't do this industry, I genuinely don't know what I would do. But like, I was a bartender. But when I got into this industry, and like, marketing became a thing, and like, I don't know if anyone follows me on Instagram, but I do these adverts for these different brands and stuff. And I don't know if anyone knows this about me. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do. Like, in my life. I don't know how that makes me seem, but like, I love advertising, and I love the idea of creating something and building something from scratch. And if I'm obsessed with it, it gives my soul something that I adore. And so I spend hours, I'll probably spend this evening before the football, I genuinely probably go home and look at YouTube at old adverts. And yeah, I do it all the time. I like deep dive into old adverts, and I go, oh, how can I tailor that to what I'm trying to do over here? And then how do I like add Pete in there? And then like how do I like piss Louise off and then bring her involved into it? And I like mind map everything, and it makes me so happy.
Wow.
And, yeah,
I mean, I've never asked anyone this before, but what's your favourite old advert?
There's a Levi one, right? I did an advert for a beer company. I won't name them because it didn't go out, and they were an idiot for this, and I maintain that it's so. The idea was from Levi from like I think like the 70s or 80s, and it's a guy walking down. He's in like a shack, right? And he's walking down these stairs and he's boiling. It's a really hot day. It's like a day like today, and he's sweating. It's like on Route 66 or something in the States, and he's a really good looking guy.
He's really hot.
Topless in boxers, right?
I know the ad.
Walking down the stairs. Have you seen it?
Yeah, obviously I'm old. Yeah.
And it can't be from the 70s then. And he's sweating, right? He's got all this sweat around him. And he goes down and he opens this fridge, and the steam comes out the fridge, and it just feels great when, like, because it looks cold. And he pulls out from the fridge these pair of Levi jeans, and he pulls them up his legs, and the camera shot goes up and all like that, and you can see one of the ladies who's pouring the coffee, and it goes over it spills over the thing. She's like that. And I went, that is one of the best things. So I did that advert for a beer brand and copied it and had Pete Wicks.
So wait, so Pete's the sweaty guy.
Pete's the sweaty guy.
Okay.
So I got a sprayer out and sprayed him with water as he's walking down the stairs. And he's got beads of sweat like coming down. And he's like, and he's pissed off because he doesn't want this on his face. And he's walking down the stairs all slow mo in boxers, and he's got pretty big bollocks. And so. And he'll be the first person to say this. And so we say it on our podcast and not say anything different. And so they're quite out. And he walks past and he struts down and he opens this fridge and we have steam coming out the fridge. And he pulls out these jeans and he puts these jeans up, and I'm there and I'm pouring cream onto a brownie, and I'm like that. And the cream like overflows over the brownie. And then the beer hasn't even fucking come into it yet. And,
where's the beer?
And he's poured this thing, and he then goes into the fridge after he's done that, takes a beer out, pops it, takes a sip in slow-mo, looks round. I'm like that. And he goes, fuck are you looking at? And that's where it finishes.
So good.
Mate, I posted it, and within half an hour, it had over 1 million views watching it. And they wanted it taken down because it had too much bollock in it. And I, to this day, maintain that would have been the best ad they've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's the kind of stuff that I just adore doing.
I mean, you learn something new. I did not know that about Pete. What an interesting fact.
Yeah, oh, God. He's gonna kill me.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I'm imagining that this hyper-focus that can be so brilliant in terms of a passion, a hobby, a mission that you give yourself was really helpful during your UNICEF challenge, because that was something else to do. What was it? It was 260 miles in 5 days that you cycled and ran. That's an extreme challenge that I think most people would go, nah, that's not for me, I don't want to do it. Do you think that lent itself to that sort of mindset, that you could really focus on that challenge ahead?
Yeah, but also, you know, the anxiety and the pressure. I've always wanted to do something like that. I've never really, I've been really lucky in my life. Like, I've got a great family, a great friendship group. Like, I do a job that I love. And so I haven't really been through much adversity. And I feel like I've taken a lot from this industry, but I hadn't given much back. And I was like, there's something I'm missing. And I was like, I really need to. And I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I need to do something. And I want it to be big. And I was doing I'm a Celebrity Unpacked, actually, 2 years ago. And one of the ITV heads walked into my trailer and he goes, I had a trailer, by the way. That was mad.
Come on.
Yeah. I blocked my loo on the second day. And,
TMI?
And you have no idea what it feels like to go up to someone and be like, I'm really sorry. I've just taken a massive dump in that loo. We don't even know each other very well.
Wow.
And would you mind? There's no I don't know. I would do it myself. I just don't know what to do.
So someone else had to fish it out?
I felt so bad that I stood next to them while they were doing it. Because I was like, I feel so bad. Anyway, so I've gone off topic. Anyway, and it's the first time I talk about the loo too much, but and this is something that I do on my podcast way too much. But it's the first time I've ever had a trailer, and he walks into my trailer and he goes, "Do you want to do this UNICEF challenge?" I went, absolutely, yes, sign me up.
And then he's like, by the way, it stinks of shit in here.
Shit in it. Yeah. And I'm there with a plunge. I'm so sorry. Please hire me again. And then I had 6 months to do it, and those challenges are wild because you see, Jamie did his just before me.
Yeah, of course.
And we're like brothers, so we were kind of training together a little bit, and both really nervous. And I saw him smash it out of the park. And I saw him resonate with people, and I was like, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and it got me even more nervous. So I went, I don't think I'm going to be able to do mine. It looks so hard, and I'm not an athlete. My legs are crap, and so I was really nervous. I turned up, and on the first day, I tore my calf. On the first day, at about 10K from the end checkpoint of the first marathon. And I'd still got to do a big bike after that, and it was on day one, and I did it, and I felt it was like a gunshot to my leg. And I went, and they were filming it for ITV, and I went, ooh, like that, and I went, oh my God, I know exactly what that is. And I literally, and the cameraman saw it, and he went, whoa, like that, and got out, and I went, oh no, I can't even hide it. And I started like welling up because like you forget about the people that you think you're gonna let down, and they put so much, and they'd never done anything. This is the first UNICEF thing ever. Like David Beckham's done stuff with UNICEF, and I was like they've asked me to do it. Do you know how grateful I am to be able to do that? And on day one, I fucked it, and I was literally like, I was so upset. And then this sounds so lame, but it's true. The power of friendship. I don't care what anyone says. I would not have completed that if I didn't have Ryan, my brother-in-law, Pete coming down, Tony Bellew coming down every single time, and I'm shuffling along on this leg. It was the most amazing thing, and I actually hyper-focused on people rather than anything I was doing. And like people turned up to checkpoints and to the end, and like I'd never met people before, and like we were hugging, and there was this woman who turns up. I'll never forget it. We've got 53 seconds left, and I remember there was.
Oh no, sod that.
Oh, thank God, because I've been terrified of that for the entire thing.
Ignore that.
Oh my God, thank the Lord.
No,
I've literally been like, my stories are too long. Hurry it up.
No, that's meaningless.
Oh, okay, cool, fine. So I've been panicking about that since we were 30. And I forgot what the fuck I was saying. What was I saying?
You've done a big shit in the top. No, you've done
No,
that.
no.
You're running. You're calf.
A calf running. Oh, the woman.
The woman.
So this woman came up to me. It was the most beautiful thing. We were on day 3, and like people had kind of understood that the car thing had happened by that point. It becomes sort of like a bit of a story. And she comes up to me at the very end. She goes, I like don't really have anything to my name. She went, I use a certain amount of money to buy myself a Costa once a week. And she went, I've given that money to UNICEF. And again, a lot of crying in this podcast talk. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I started crying.
I bet.
And I've never felt more attached to another human being in my life. And so, in a very long-winded way, to the point that the counter's counted down, it wasn't so much hyper-focusing on me that got me through that. It was like you guys. It was people.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think people are inherently good. I think we are all born as good people, and I think our experiences through life then change how we are.
Yeah.
And I think the most beautiful thing of that challenge was how many people came together in a world that is doing whatever it's doing, and in finances that are tough for so many people. And like to see people come together for like a cause that isn't themselves was the most heroic thing I'd ever seen. It had nothing to do with me and everything.
So cool.
It was the best thing I've ever done in my life. That, the jungle, and if I'm being selfish, the O2 for staying relevant were like the best 3 things that have ever happened in my life.
No, it's so beautiful, and I totally agree with you.
Should've sent my nephew. Fuck.
Oh, screwed it. Too late. The pause was too long.
I'm a girlfriend. Oh, no.
Oh, no. In such trouble later. But I so agree. I think people are good eggs, and we either act from a place of love or fear, and in those moments, you're seeing people act totally from the heart, and it's such a good reminder. There are brilliant people out there everywhere. We just don't hear about it as much as all the terrible shit that's going on the whole time. But what a beautiful thing. What do you think you learned about yourself during that? Yes, you've got this amazing, bigger perspective of the human race and everyone coming together for something, but there's also your own internal story going on of you doing this hard physical challenge.
Do you know what? It's I put myself down. I'm quite self-deprecating, and I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing, but I do it maybe to an overextent. And I just didn't think I'd do it. I don't think I'm a man. I don't think I'm like strong. And I think when I did that challenge, I felt so at peace with myself, and I felt really proud. I think it's the first time I've ever actually been proud of myself. And I think I learned that like I can. I don't know how to word this, but I have the right to be proud of myself. And it's the first time that I've ever properly felt that. And it's funny because it was the most relaxed I've ever been in my life.
Isn't it funny how I think it's a very British thing that we assume we can't be happy with ourselves, we can't be chuffed with ourselves or proud. It's like this sort of weird subterranean feeling that like someone's going to go catch us out. Like, oh, you thought you could be proud of yourself, but wait, I'm going to throw this spanner in the works. Like we're waiting to be caught out slightly. Yeah. It's a real horrible British trait that we all have, that we are all inherently sort of self-deprecating. Do you think at this point of your life you like yourself?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that I'm more myself now than I've ever been, which which I couldn't say maybe at the start of when people might have got to know me. And that's just taken a lot of growing up, a lot of, to be honest with you, a lot of really good friends and a lot of experiences, a lot of things that are happening in the public eye as well, which can be seen as a negative sometimes, but actually are a real positive. And I feel like I'm the most self-aware that I've ever been right now, and I hope that doesn't change. And I feel really happy. And that's really great. It's really great that I feel happy. But I feel very at peace. And there's been times where I haven't. So yeah, I feel pretty great.
How beautiful.
Thank you.
Be in a good place.
Yeah, I'm just lucky. I'm very lucky. I've got a great amount of people around me. And yeah, so my life would never ever be anything that it is if I didn't have the circle of people that I have around me. And to be honest, you guys. And I don't think you guys realize how much I need you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, people, I read every message that anyone ever sends me, and whenever I see anyone listening or anyone watching now, whenever I see people, I genuinely adore you, and so you're like my family, and I'm so how cool is it that you get to say you got a family of however many people, that goes so big. And it's a pretty cool thing to have. So, yeah, I feel let's just keep smashing it. I next year, Pete's gonna hate me. I want to do something at the O2 again. And I feel like if you would all want to be there, then we'd love you there.
You heard it here first. Sam and Pete will be at the O2. I love it. Too right. It's a good plan for next year. I like it.
I feel like you've always got to have a plan. You've always got to aim
have a goal.
somewhere. I need a goal. I have to.
I need a goal.
And do you know what? One of the goals was to always not in this aim maybe, but always sort of be friendly with you. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah,
we can make that happen.
I feel like I've kind of done
that.
The
goal is happening.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm sweating. Yeah.
I'm literally dripping wet.
I've watched her for years.
We can be friends.
Pretty damn cool doing this.
I'll be part of your family. We're in it.
Yes! Come on!
It's on. It was that easy. Sam, what a joy you are. I'm so glad that you're in such a good place. Oh, before we end, I must ask you the most important question.
Go on.
Where is your happy place?
Oh, my God. I know it instantly. I have two.
You have two?
One is with my cats. In bed.
We can definitely be friends.
Yeah,
You're a cat
one's
person.
my cats. I'm a massive cat
Yeah,
person.
no, same. They're the best.
Albus Dumbledore III is my little white with ginger face cat, and he literally jumps onto my bed every morning, and he comes and snuggles right into my neck.
Heaven.
And my girlfriend's she's like, why do you never come to me? I'm like, you're just not his dad. I'm like, and he comes and lies right there, and he purrs in my ear. And that is genuinely my safe place. My other one, who's a little bit chonkier, he struggles to jump on the bed sometimes. So sometimes he'll jump on and then fall off. And so I have to get up and pull him up as well. And so my cats to me are my home. My home.
They're the best invention ever.
Yeah, they are. And I love my home. My home is my safe place. I'd rather be at home. I don't like change, and so being at home, I would rather that maybe sometimes than being on a holiday.
Oh yeah, I love being at home.
Yeah, especially in this weather, and I've got a patio, and I sit in the patio.
Dreamy.
And with my cats, and I've got little cat rolls, they can't escape. And so that's one. And number two, and I've mentioned him a lot, and I don't mean to bring Pete up all the time because, and I mean this, we're all different, separate people, but our lives are so entwined that, and he's had such a huge impact on my life. Another one would be that doing something stupid with my best mate is whenever I'm having a really, really tough time, there's a thing that a feeling I get when I'm doing some stupid dance in my patio or getting Pete to dress up in a stupid outfit with me or something like that. There's a feeling I get that maybe slightly immature, I don't know what it is, but I had that boyish feeling of I love. It's when I suppose it's when you screw around with a sibling, and that to me is a pretty happy place. So
it's a beautiful thing.
Are pretty great, yeah.
Just spraying fake sweat on Pete Wicks.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Sam, you're an absolute joy, and I cannot thank you enough for being at the Happy Place Festival. You're a complete legend. Please give it up for Sam Thompson.
Thank you.
Bring it in.
Thank you, man.
Legend.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, buddy.
It's a real pleasure. Yeah!
Give it
Come
up.
on! What a pleasure. Thank you.